America needs an overdose. Become truth's junkie. Use sorrow's tears to wash it down. Wolves in sheep's clothing unfolding lies. Truth! Set us free. Digging through the lies, finding you beneath the filth of hate and deceit. Truth! Bring us to our knees. Bent over in repentance, repeating the past, retreating. Don't ask, don't tell me no lies. Pop these pills of the truth is a hard pill to swallow. Coughing up these lies, choking my cognitive, distancing me from things unseen, confusing the very fibers of my being, my membranes, remembering, distorting my brain cells, brain dead to lies, brainwashed in truth, baptized in a new baptism. Is all forgiven? Repentance, recompense, making lies make sense, nonsense. Take this pill, pillow soften the blows of confusion, pillow talking life and death, eating the fruit of the seed you sown, reaping harvest unknown.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Change the Channel. No static, no interference. And I have with me my special guest on tonight, Tekesia Shields, with Mothers Against Gang Violence. And we're going to be talking tonight about what she's doing in the community, how she got started, and where she's headed within our community. So, again, welcome to Change the Channel. I am Lisa L. Yeomans, the founder of Change Gonna Come. We are a voice in the fight for justice, a hand in building community, and a key to unlocking freedom. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And before we do, I do ask that you will go ahead and share the video out. Tag your friends, let everybody know to join us on this evening, and also interact. If you have any questions, you can put those in the comment section below. If you have any comments you would like to make, go ahead and put those in the comment section below. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to give a brief bio of Tekesia, and then we're going to jump into our conversation. So Tekesia Shields is the founder of Mothers Against Gang Violence and program supervisor for Cure Violence Atlanta, Credible Messenger, Georgia Chapter Family Engagement Specialist. Tekesia is a mother of 4 wonderful sons and a grandmother of 1. Ms. Shields worked over 12 years as a case manager for the Center for Black Women's Wellness, educating mothers on the importance of prenatal care and infant mortality prevention. Over the years, Ms. Shields encourages not only her own sons, but several families whose lives she touched on a daily basis. In addition, Tekesia Shields decided to start an organization called Mothers Against Gang Violence, MAG, due to her trials of raising her own sons. Ms. Shields received services and education that she felt a need to share with the community, which may save lives of many youths of today. After receiving honors from Atlanta Public Schools and Center for Black Women's Wellness, Tekesia Shields decided to walk in her destiny and plant seeds that will nourish the community, and she is now a credible messenger of Georgia. So again, Tekesia, thank you for joining me on tonight, and welcome to Change the Channel.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so we're going to go ahead and just get right into this. You created your own organization, Mothers Against Gang Violence. So tell us a little bit about how that got started and why you decided to create your organization.
Mothers Against Gang Violence was actually founded in 2016. Again, like I said, I work with Center for Black Women's Wellness. It's a prenatal infant mortality program that was based in a low-income community for over 13 years. And I was working with a lot of teenage first-time moms on the importance, but we never taught the young kids, the young men, how to be dads, teenage dads. And so in that realm of me doing home visit case management, my middle son, my third child, became active in street activities, found other peer pressures, or he started making other choices. And those choices was like, wow, okay, now I can see how the young men are not receiving services, how the young men are not noticing that we have support. My son was being locked up. and everything. And I just thought, of all the things that I was doing in the community, all the people I knew in the community, all the resources I was providing in the community, I just felt that it wasn't being shared with our young men. And I found that because I personally went through that with my young son. He was going in and out of juvenile. I have been in Atlanta all my life. When I tell you I have been to every courthouse in Atlanta, I don't know how, but I have. And so with that, I was embarrassed at first. And so with being embarrassed, I started saying, okay, I work with teenage moms. So let me change the dynamic of what I want to do, because that's what I was going through with mothers, with our sons. And so I wanted to use the service that I was working and utilizing in the community with our young ladies. And I wanted to manifest it with our young men to change their behavior norm. And so with working, starting within my own household, because that's what I was going through. So I was like, okay, you want to be in the streets? You want to be a part of a gang? They always say a mother that has a lot of kids, oh, you got a gang of kids. Okay, well, I already have 4 sons. I got a gang of kids. I'm starting my own gang. So I'm Mothers Against Gang Violence. So that's how I started.
I like how you started that name, your own gang. Wow.
Okay.
That's interesting. I like that. So when you were saying that you was working with young women, and then when your son started going in a different path, you realized that it wasn't a lot of programs for young men. So what is it like, the difference? What is the imbalance? Is there a really big difference within that, as far as the young boys not getting the help that they need?
Well, it's a myth. They always say, from an early age, when it's forward, it's crying. We always be like, man up. Don't cry. Don't do this. Like, I'm going to say it like this. You don't need to be playing with no doll. You don't need to know how to change Pampers, but, teenage little girls play with dolls. You know what I'm saying? They learn how. So, it takes 2 and 2 to tango. So when we're telling young guys and young boys, to man up and not doing this, but we're not showing them what man up looks like. And so when we're telling them don't go to counseling or don't communicate or don't trust, then we're giving them. I'm not saying that I was, telling, because I always say I was a single mom, but I don't say that I'm a single mom, because I have a whole community that's behind me. The resources that I've met and the relationships that I built in the community, it's no way that I could be single. And so I just had to learn my kids, and I had to learn each one of them and parent them in the way that I knew how. And with my middle son, he was not open to talking to a lot of people. And so, the services that he was receiving, it was, they don't know me. They don't need to know me. Don't nobody need to talk to me. So it's not that the services weren't available. It was the stigma of the young boys. Do you receive these services? Do you need these services? Do you believe in these services? So it was something that they had to believe in order for the young man to, trust. And so it's just a myth in the trust of the young men and things that we did not show.
Okay, yeah.
I did not show as a parent.
You did not, yeah. And I do like how you said that even though you were a single mom, because you had so many people around you in the community, there was no way that you could be single. Yeah, I never heard that. That's really powerful, and that's really a good way at looking at it. And also it goes back to, it takes a village to raise a child. So you had that support. Talk about some of, like, when you come in contact with these young men, talk about like the impact that you coming into their lives is making as they move forward, like into adulthood.
Well, like I said, I have 4, and they're 4 years apart. And so, I always thought that they had to play football, they had to play basketball. I'm not going to tell a story. I never talked about a trade. I never talked about college, because, my parents passed at an early age. And so it really wasn't instilled to graduate, yes, but it wasn't instilled to go further. So when I had one son that's in college, and he had a lot of coaches and different things. So I just automatically felt that my son, whom is incarcerated, was going to follow down that path, because I felt he was opening doors. If one son opened a door, then, we know if somebody opened a door for you, you walk through that door, but that may not be the door for you to walk through. And so when I started learning what doors look like to be, I didn't force it. You know what I'm saying? With let me see, with the young men that would come when he would get in trouble and things of that nature. And I would always tell them I would have groups, and we would do groups on how to know your background or your GPA. You know, in school, what is your high school GPA? So with the young men that my son used to hang around, what was your GPA of stealing cars? Who stole the most cars? Did you get a 4.0 and how you did it? You know, so I had to use the concept of where they were. Now, if and they would say, and that was the only way he would not sneak out the house. The people that influenced you would have to come and they would have to speak to me, so you wouldn't go out a window, so you wouldn't go steal a car. So I just kind of changed the dynamics of, you know, what was the educational or the right way to say it, and looked at the things that they were doing. And they were like, man, your mama cool. Because if, you know, people don't like to see a child around a disrespectful parent. So if I showed them all the resources, like, dude, why you want to be a part of a game when your mama got all these services? Like, you crazy. Like, I don't have this at home, but you have this at home. So I thought that would change the mind of the individuals that he would be around. And I would try to offer the same services that I was getting for my son, whether it was mentoring, whether it was parenting, whether it was counseling. So that's how I tried to change the dynamics of the young men that I saw and that was coming into my life, because I just like to share. And whether it was good or bad, I felt like sharing would change the mind of someone else, but that person have to want to have their mind changed.
That is so true. Yeah, the person does have to want to have their mind changed. And another interesting thing you just said, GPA. Like, what was your GPA in stealing cars? You know, I know that had to be like to make someone stand back and really think about what they were doing. So I like how you did that they was able to, you made it relatable to them, so that they can understand it from where they were and from where they was coming from. So now I know that once you start your program and once your son started getting in trouble and going down the path that he was in, you was able to also connect what you were doing within the school system. So share with the audience how you were able to do that, and then also the pushback kind of that you received when you wanted to go into the school system.
Well, it was at first I was like truly upset, because I'm always an active parent. I'm still an active parent. I was on the PTA. I was the booster parent. You know, you had one son that was just going down that right path, that was just doing, I'm not gonna say the right path, that was doing what society felt was right. And then I had one that was always getting suspended from school and everything. So, you know, when you have different programs, and I'm not judging anybody programs like the Big Brothers Big Sister programs, or the 100 Black Men, you know, we have a lot of different programs where, you know, the youth that come in, those young men that come in our program, they kind of not as risk as the ones. So they kind of just need a little push. But when you have the ones that are skipping school, stealing cars and different things, so I'm like, let me change this dynamic. My 25-year-old at the time who was in school, he good. So let me get off the PTA, let me get off the booster, and let me focus on the behavior. So because I was always an active parent, I went to the principal and I went to the administrator, and I was like, well, you know, it's a problem, there's a behavior problem that's going on in the school. I know it because it's going on in my home. And then so people was like, well, how can you help when your son is the one that's getting suspended? I'm like, well, how could I help when my son was Mr. You know how they be Mr. High School, they be the king of the high school. He was a starting running back. So I was okay when I was showing my face for that parent. But when I'm coming to you as a person saying that it's a behavior concern in the school, and I want to start with mine, let me reach the parents that don't want to come to the parent teacher conference, because I didn't want to come. I would come, but it made me sad every time I come. Oh, he skipped my class and he didn't do my work. Why would I want to come to a parent teacher conference to hear something that I already know? So teach me and make me feel comfortable and get a plan to come. So let me go out in the community and tell these parents that feel like they're not comfortable to come into school, or that was embarrassed, because I'm a parent and I'm going through it. And so the principals and administratives and a lot of the teachers, they took on this. So I developed a behavior plan. And so they showed me how to do it. I had to go get a background check, and I became, volunteering with the Credible Messengers. And the thing was, when you get suspended from school, It's automatically, like if you fighting or smoking, it's automatically a 10-day suspension. When you suspended for 10 days, like they say, are idle mind, they learn more when they're not in, when they're out. So how about, let's do this. Depending on the citation of their suspension, whether it was smoking or something, maybe it was a little tussle or something, let's limit the suspension so that they can be in school. So we'll do a communication, what got me here, develop a forward thinking curriculum. And the forward thinking curriculum would teach the parents, like the parents had to come and the youth would have to come on a Saturday. If the parent and the youth came, then that would take away maybe 2 or 3 days of the suspension of the youth so that they can start, stay back in school. But if the parent did not show, then the youth automatically got the 10 days. And so once the school bought into it, we started doing that. They started allowing us to come in on Saturdays to kind of break down some of the high rates of suspension in the school and change the behavior norm. Then they gave me they saw it and they gave me the okay to continue.
Okay, that's awesome. So when you said the forward thinking, what was the response of the parents? Did parents show up for their students? Did they, show support for that?
Well, the parents had to show up on the first day just for like an orientation to be introduced to the individuals, the mentors, because it was not just me, it was other mentors that it was in the program, that volunteered, that was actually working. So, you had a lady, you had some guys for the men, people that was relatable. And so the parents had to show. But if a parent did not show or a grandparent did not show, we did not turn the child around. We would call, make a home visit, like we really trying to help, make a difference. I know what you're going through. People always say, you can't tell me what I'm going through if you haven't been through it, but I'm going through it now, so you can't tell me. So let's help your child.
Yeah. So when they showed up, it was just for like orientation, or did they have to go through the class with them?
Well, it was just like orientation that was new. So now with the having a partnership with the juvenile system, we have a family engagement on Monday. So that's kind of that family engagement luncheon. So parents will have to get on Mondays, and we provide support and services. And then on Tuesday, it's a youth group. So it's like the parents receiving how to communicate. What does a family look like? Victim. What does a victim look like? Your roots, substance abuse. So now it's like mandated for some of the parents to get on and to help the youth. Because when you're changing the youth, you want to change the parents as well so that they can follow the guidelines and it works.
Okay. So you still have the family engagement, you said every Monday.
Yes.
And what time does that take place? 6 o'clock. And then on Tuesday, you have the meeting for the youth.
Yes.
And that's at 6 also?
Yes.
And that's all on Zoom?
All on Zoom.
All on Zoom. Okay. I just want to make sure, so if someone's listening, they want to jump on. And anybody can come check that out? Okay.
Yes.
Is there a place of registration that they need to go to?
No, anybody can get on, but because we have a partnership now with the Fulton County Juvenile, I sit on the DeKalb County panel. I work with the Cure Violence team, and so it's anybody can log on. We have grieving individuals that gets on, who've lost a loved one or lost their kid due to violence, because we want to let a family member, and it's not just for ladies, it's for uncles, grandmothers, dads, step parents, it's for anybody, because we want to let everybody know that you're not the only person. It's a support and resources, and so where can I go?
Okay, that's awesome. So, and then also something you mentioned when you was talking about the behavior plan, or I think that's the curriculum you wrote out.
Yes.
What are some of the things that's in there? Like, what do you take the young people through when they come to that, to take that curriculum?
Well, we have a booklet and it says what got me here. So it's a journal. So they have the opportunity to write in the journal what got you here to this stage. To make them think about their roots, how did you make that victim feel? Were you a victim? Then they also we talk about the laws and what to look for, because as we know, and a lot of people don't know, when they're in juveniles, and the people be like, well, why the kids that they don't keep them in a long time? in there a long time because the kids are on a point system. And when you start going to juvenile so long, you know your point. If I steal a car, there's two points. And I learned that with my own son. They ain't gonna keep me. You know what I'm saying? It's 3 points. When they get over a certain points, percentage of points, then it's become an issue where they know they're going to stay now. Well, I may stay a month, I may stay a week. So just teaching them, why do you want to stay? Why do you feel like you can't communicate? What does a mentor look like? Substance abuse, the difference, substance abuse, with the parenting, learning how to understand your siblings. Who are you hurting? So we teach them about it and volunteer.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you did mention Credible Messenger. We're going to get into that, but I do want to play a short clip of the video that you sent so they can kind of get an idea.
Take advantage of everything that you're funding on the fund with this county. We are so excited to partner with that back there with the United States Attorney. Me and him have decided that there's got to be a better way to do business than the way we're doing it right now. We don't want to just keep locking up young men, and let me say it, I don't want to keep locking up young men just for me. And so I will.
Okay, Tekesia, so you can go ahead and tell us a little bit more about Credible Messenger, and I'm also going to put the link in the comments, so if someone wants to go and complete and watch the video in its full, then they will be able to click on this link and do that.
Yes, ma'am. So the Credible Messenger is a program that was actually, I was invited through the U.S. Attorney Office where we work. And what they did was they brought a lot of different ground roots organizations together that had different goals, but the same mission. So we have the Offenders Alumni. That's like an AA group. And what they do is for returning citizens, they have a support group on Fridays where they would help with homes, housing, jobs, employment for individuals that were, returning, how to get your ID, how to get your birth certificate. And then we have Freedom is a Choice, Mr. Omar Howard, with the mentoring program and the family pieces with the Mothers Against Gang Violence, which is what I do with, mentors and everything in that program to provide a support. And so what we did was over the summer, there was a Money Move program that was actually put in place. And that program actually assisted 20 youth that were high risk youth, had high charges. And in a 10-week process, we did mentoring, life skills, and that's what we got them back in school. If they didn't get in school, start getting their GED, got them connected with substance abuse counseling and different things, and in reference to completing that program. And they received a stipend. Mm-hmm. And in completion of that program, a few of the youth charges were dismissed. And so that's basically what we did is we, changed the behavior of the youth, changed the behavior norm. It's not an overnight, so don't think 10 weeks we changed everything. It actually still working. Like I said, I work with the Cure Violence program. I'm at work right now, mm-hmm. and we do continue case management where we do gun violence intervention, and we actually, change the mindset. We stop gun violence actually before it happened, or we mediate things that are happening in the community. So 10 weeks, it didn't just stop. We're still case managing and working with the youth and the families and others in the community. And they say, who's better to work with individuals in the community, people who've actually been through it. So Credible Messengers and Cure Violence Interrupters are individuals who have actually been through, the system, or going through the system, and now they want to make a difference in the community.
That is awesome. And just like the experience of somebody, because I think in that way also the youth will be able to identify more, because now they can't say, you don't know what I've been through,
Right.
or you haven't dealt with this, or this is not your experience, because the persons that are helping them have actually been through what they're going through.
Yes.
And I think it just make more of an impact for them to see someone that was in their position, but now they're living successful, they're on the other side of it. So I think that's good. So when they go through this program, what's like the retention? Like if 50 people start out, do it usually end with all 50, or do
Oh no.
no?
No, like you have some that repeat, that we probably had like 3 to return and go back to juvenile. But of course we go to court with them. Like I said, it don't happen overnight. So we go to court, we assist with services. A lot of the families were, it was stability, it was housing, it was a lot of household concerns so we helped the family to overcome some of those stressors, so that that kid didn't feel as if though they had to take care of things that were going on in the home. To feed, we provided employment opportunities. So we're still working. It's a work in progress. 10 weeks doesn't last always, but it's something that we're continuing to work on.
That's awesome. But the most important thing, even if someone comes and they don't stay, the seed is planted.
Right.
The seed is planted, and I know, like when people go through stuff and they see the help but they really don't receive it, when the seed is planted, it's always in the back of your mind that
Yes.
And then as they go through life, it's like there's really no excuse, because they've seen other people come through
Right.
what they're coming through. And another thing I like, because you said it's kind of like holistic, so you're helping the whole family with whatever
Yes.
issues, so you're like really taking away all the excuses. So I think that's a good thing, that the youth come, but then the whole household can be taken care of.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I like that. So thank you for that. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back, and we're going to get into some more questions.
Okay.
Get your copy of America the Beautiful, Poetic Injustice and Inequality in Black and White. America the Beautiful is a collection of poetry that highlights and takes on racism, injustice, and inequality in America head on. 90% of the proceeds will be funneled back into the community in various ways, to include assisting community organizations actively working to build up the state of their communities, educating and building our youth, and also disrupting mass incarceration. To order your copies of America the Beautiful, visit changegonecome.today.
So we are back with Tekesia Shields. Okay, yes. Sorry, Tekesia Shields, and we're talking about her organization, Mothers Against Gang Violence. And Tekesia, I want to ask you, I have a lot more questions, but I know you got to leave right at 8. So I want you to talk about, I know you're in school or you're studying criminal justice. So talk a little bit about that. And I guess we, at this point, we all know why you went that direction. But just talk a little bit about it and where you at and how far along you've come already with that.
Well, actually, I always wanted to be a lawyer when I was a little girl.
Okay.
But I became a teenage mom. And so when you become a teenage mom, some of your dreams kind of, you put them on the back burner.
Yeah.
And so, when my son became incarcerated and me going back and forth, to court, to the juveniles, taking mandatory parenting classes. My son is sentenced to 20 years, 17. He's been in there since he's 17. He's 21 now. So he's been incarcerated for 4 years. And again, I have one that graduated from college. His bachelor's, football scholar, and he has his master's. And so he would always be like, well, why you don't want to go back to school? So I was like, go back to school. So I was like, you know what? I wanted to be a lawyer. I have one that's incarcerated. And when I would go and speak, I would always tell the kids, you can get on 2 buses. And I would put up a picture, and it would be a bus for, football players. When they're traveling, they have their bus. And then you have the prison bus when you're going and you're being transported and you're going through diagnosis. So you can get on this bus or you can get on this bus. You choose. And then I would say, which one of those are my sons and which one got on with bus? And they would always be like, the football. And I would say both. I had a son to get on this bus, and I had a son to get on that bus. On each. And so going to court. Me as a parent, I didn't know all the laws. I didn't understand the laws. I'm not going to tell a story. I didn't know what preliminary and adjudicatory and all of those things. You hear about it, but you don't know the real definitions about it. And with me working with individuals on the school, again, I'm credible. Mothers, parents, fathers, people don't like to go to court. So who best to teach you than somebody that's going through it? And I always tell everybody, let's learn about the laws, because these youth think I could get a year, I could get 2 years, I could get 5 years, and then those years end up to life. They end up to 20 years, starting to go see my son. And when I was visiting him, I was in a depression. I was visiting him every week. I had to see him every week like he was free. And every time I went to go see him, the more and more I would see younger and younger kids. And they were facing, some of them didn't have parole out dates. So that means they had life sentences. And I would tell my son, at least I know you have a parole out date, but what it looks like to be in jail at 17 with no date of release date. And things of that. So learning the laws, learning what times look like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if you understood it, then you'll make a better choice. Yeah. Maybe if, the parent understood it, we could be able to speak, or whomever the individual, the youth is living with, if we understood more about the laws and not just a traffic ticket, you can't speed on the expressway, different things of that nature, theft by receipt, different things. If we understood the true definition, then our choices would be different. So that's what gave me the push and the drive to go back to school and take criminal justice, because I didn't want no parent to feel the pain that I feel here in 20 years for a 17-year-old.
Yeah, that's a lot. And it's like now things are like really coming full circle for you, because it's what you wanted. May not have been the path you wanted to take to get to it,
right?
But you're there.
Yes.
So and that's a blessing, that even in all that, even with you going through things with your own child, that it's in your own household, the fact that you're still reaching out to help somebody else and to prevent this from happening to another child, that's awesome. Because a lot, like you said, there was days you got depressed. Some people would have got depressed and would like, forget everybody else, I got my own problems, because sometimes we do that. I have my own issues over here, so I think that's really awesome what you're doing. So I'm trying to get all my questions in here. To get all my questions.
Come on.
So talk about future plans for MAG.
The future plans that I would like to have is, I work for a lot of different organizations, but I want my own organization. I'm going to have my own organization. I'm going to have my own school building. Yeah. I'm in school at Atlanta Area Tech, taking up criminal justice, but I want to have my own technical college, MAG Technical College. I want a child care, because I work for prenatal infant mortality, but I want it to be for young men. I want a parenting class for young men. I want trade schools. I want GED, because a lot of times us ladies, and being truthful, we go to work and, we be okay sometimes with, guys babysitting and stuff like that. I have childcare. I don't want a young guy to feel like I don't have to go to school. I want to have all those services in one building, so that they don't have to. I can go upstairs if on lunchtime. I can come down, and it's not gonna just be for young guys. It can be for anyone. If anybody ever heard of the Ron Clark Academy, Ron Clark has a lot of different resources. I want to have it in one building. You can be a plumber, you can be a truck driver, you can be a lawyer. I want them to come to a school with a second chance technical reentry school for individuals that have come out of this judicial system.
That is awesome. So I'm just practicing, putting it up there.
I see.
Just putting it into existence here. So 2 final questions here. And I'm gonna let you talk about your sons, because I heard you talk about how much they inspire you when so I want you to talk about that last. But okay. The question I have for you is, say that there's a ladder, and we're talking about the children or the young men and women that you have to um that you mentor and you speak life into. They're going to be climbing up this ladder. We're just going to call it the ladder of life. We're not going to say success. We're going to call it the ladder of life. Hey Wendy, that's my cousin. So you have to put 3 rungs in this ladder.
3 who?
Rungs, like for them to step on.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So just be mindful, they're going to step on it. So it's going to, whatever you put in here is going to push them. And, they're going to have to grab it with their hands. So they're going to have to reach, and it's going to push them and pull them.
Okay.
So, and we're coming from an aspect of spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. What steps are you putting there for them so that they can go through life? What 3 things are you going to put there so they can step on it and it's going to push them? And when they need it, they can pull on it and it's going to carry them forward.
What 3 things that I would like for them to step on? Trust. I would like them to, spiritually. The first thing I would like them to step on is the hands of God. Because God will put the faith in them to hold on. And as they hold on and they keep climbing, they trust that they're going to get to their final destination, the path that God has set for them.
Mm-hmm. What? And number 3, you said the hands of God, trust,
and the faith.
Faith. Okay, that is awesome. I like asking those questions. And finally, really quickly, because I want to give the information and let people know of your upcoming events. Talk about how your sons, both of them, have inspired you.
So I'm going to say 4. Because I have 4 sons.
You have 4 sons,
yes. I have 4 sons. I have a 29-year-old, 25, 21, and 17. How they have inspired me, they have all inspired me in their own way. Again, I had to learn how to parent each one of them differently. And again, to be honest, I learned that through parenting classes, going to court. Because none of my other sons have been incarcerated. None of them have, one probably for a traffic ticket or something like that. So they inspire me. My oldest son, he's an awesome father. He does the things that I've done as far as keeping them in sports. He communicates, spend a lot of time. He's inspired. My 25, he a football athlete. He graduated from college and just encouraged, like, now I need you, the seeds that you planted in us, I need you to plant those seeds into yourself, because they saw that I was, neglecting my self-worth to try to make sure that things were worthy. Did they always appreciate it? No, they did not always appreciate it. So they are teaching me how to learn how to appreciate myself and plant seeds in myself. And then, of course, my son, Noonie, Devon, that's incarcerated, he always tell me, and I should have put it up a poem, that it's not my fault. He was like, Mom, it's not your fault. I always want you to know, he called me his Miss TK, and I call him my promise child. That it's not your fault, because, Mom, you did everything in your power, to show me and provide a positive path for me. Therefore, I did not choose. But I can also say I thank my promise child, because I would have met you. It was a lot of people that I would not have met to be able to show them and provide services from the pain that I have been through. Now, my youngest son, my 17-year-old, he's my inspiration, because, he's, even though you say your first child go through it all, my youngest child went through it all, with every last, because if either one get mad, they would have to talk to him. Why you think Mama feeling like this? He had to hear the pain, the hurt, the cries, the smiles of everyone, and come back and tell Mom. Even if we traveled, whether it went to court, he was always in court with me, or always going to visitation. And I had to understand, Mom, I don't want to be coming to visitation all the time, and I shouldn't, because that wasn't his choice to get locked up. So even though that was his brother, he loved him, but I talked to him on the phone, but he went. to football. When we would travel to see my other son of football, he would, and so my youngest son is graduating. When I went through my depression and went through counseling, and he would go and sit into the groups and sit into the trainings with me, and he would sit in everything with me. So he went through all of the ups, the downs, the hurts and pains that I have. So sometimes when I get upset with him, I have to understand, you know what I'm saying? He's really still trying to find himself. You know what I'm saying? Because he was caught up in a mixture of a lot of family issues. And then you have to be, as a parent, make sure that you don't push them back from who they want to be, and you support what they want to be. And so that's what I get from each one of my sons.
That is awesome. And I know that I said that was the final question, but another one just popped in my mind. What would you say to a mother that's going through or dealt with some of the things, going through some of the things you've dealt with, or just experiencing that, just something to encourage her, and fathers also?
I would tell them, just, it's hard to say don't give up. I went through counseling. I really because I never saw that coming. And so I did. I went to counseling. So if it's always, it's okay to go to counseling. It's okay to get help. Even if your loved one or your child is incarcerated, my slogan is you don't have to stop parenting because your child is incarcerated. I called down to the prison, the Diagnostic Jackson, and the same way I was a PTA mom when he was free, I called and said, well, can I be a PTA mom of the prison? And the lady was like, what do you mean? I said, well, you have counselors. So when your children are in school, they have counselors. They have administrative, they have outreach, they have a lot. So I want to make sure that he's receiving the services that he's supposed to. And he did. He got his high school diploma. So don't give up. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Trust me. Right now, I'm talking to a lot of people, and I still want to see the free. But I always tell everybody, the more I help somebody, the closer I feel that my son is coming home. So don't give up. Go to counseling. Believe in yourself, and don't blame yourself.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for that. That is so awesome. And I like that too. PTA mom of the prison. That is awesome. And those parents that are going through, or their children that are dealing with a situation like this, or anything that they need help from, you did say family engagement is a meeting you have every Monday.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to
let me I can put the link.
Does that go? You can put the link in there, because I was about to ask. Does it go live to Facebook, or you just keep it on Zoom?
It's on Zoom. I haven't really went live in Facebook, but it can. I just haven't. Yeah.
Okay, so she's gonna put the link in there in the comment section, just in case anybody needs that link to jump on Monday for family engagement, and then also on Tuesday for the youth group, and both of those take place at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
And so if you would like to contact Tekesia, there's an email address, tekesiashields@yahoo.com. And to my podcaster, that is TEKESIASHIELDS@yahoo.com, and also magviolence@yahoo.com, and that is MAG violence@yahoo.com. So you can reach out to her via her email, on Facebook and Instagram at magviolence, on Facebook and Instagram. And also you have a event coming up on November 21st. Can you just talk a little bit about that and tell people how they can register or be a part of that event?
Yes, so on November the 21st, we're having a family engagement appreciation luncheon, and these for parents that, because we actually work with some of the youth while they're still incarcerated, and while they're incarcerated, the families get on and we provide services so to prepare the families, like if the child or if the young adult, it could be a grown person, if they need a bed, if they need housing, if they need ID, if they need employment. So we provide services. So we're honoring the parents that just consistently get on. So we have a parent of strength. We have a parent who lost a son but still gets on just to support the other families that get on. We have guys that get on from a male perspective to say that, it's okay for a man to receive support for, because People don't know it, and we talk about a lot of deadbeat dad, but it's a lot of dads that's out here
Yeah.
actually taking care of their kids. And like I said, young men, they feel like they don't have to ask for help, but it's okay for a male to ask for help because it's provided out here. So we want to honor those. Through 2 years through the pandemic, things were in person, but it went virtually, and every Monday they logged on. So we want to honor these families with appreciation gifts, and things of that nature. So November 21st, we're gonna do at 1700 Lakewood. We're gonna do an appreciation dinner. So if you would like to come in, you don't have to register. You can show up if it's like anything that you would like to donate. If you would like to support a family, if you would like to help purchase a plaque for a family. We've actually, pay rent for some. We have a brother whose sister that's incarcerated, and she took on both of his sister kids. And so actually, being able to pay rent, not that because they asked for it, but sometimes people need a little help and a little encouragement. And so we want to show them that we appreciate them for all their tenacity and hard work through the pain that they have been through.
That's awesome. And I like the encouragement piece of it, because people do need the encouragement. Even though you're doing the right thing, sometimes the encouragement helps you to continue to do the right thing. And did you say whether we can sign up for that, or you put it in the chat? Okay.
Well, I did the family engagement group and the youth group. You don't have to sign up. You can email me if you want to. It's going to be November on the 21st. And if you would like to donate, you can email or you can contact.
Okay, let me put your email address. So both of the links are in the chat for the family engagement on Monday. That's in the chat, and also for the youth on Tuesday. Both
yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. And so for her email, Tekesia Shields at yahoo.com or magviolence@yahoo.com to get in contact with her. So Tekesia, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this evening. This was awesome. Thank you so much for your information and just like sharing your heart and letting people know what it is that you're doing. And it's just an encouragement, because sometimes people don't know that people like you exist, and organizations like yours or the Credible Messenger, that these places exist, so that they can go to for the help. So, and the assistance that they need. And also, before we get off, I am going to put the information concerning the event on the 21st. So that's at 1700 Lakewood Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. If you would like to go there. She said you don't need to sign up, just show up.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Just show up. So I want to thank everyone for joining us on this evening for Change the Channel, No Static, No Interference. And to my special guest, once again, thank you so much, Tekesia, for joining me on tonight. And so everyone, you can watch me again or join us again here on next Thursday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another engaging conversation. And until the next time, everyone, goodbye and God bless.